My name is Stephanie Broussard. I'm the Assistant Director of Graduate Recruitment here at Lamar University. I specialize in on-campus programs for domestic students. Um, on-campus program for domestic students. And I do also assist a few other students, some of our online students, and I even get a few international students every now and then. So I wanted to invite everybody to this Zoom session because everyone is affected by some form of financial aid. So whether you're international, online, or if you're an on-campus student, either way, if you're a graduate student, the financial aid process and what's available for financial aid in terms of graduate students is a little different. So for this meeting today, I have one of my favorite people, and let me get her camera going here. She is the Director of Financial Aid here at Lamar University.
My name is Bethany Bowman. I'm the Director of Financial Aid here at Lamar University. And I wanted to take a moment to look at things real high level and so that we all entered into this conversation with the same understanding. So financial aid for professional students. So that's anybody who already has a degree. The Department of Ed is very clear in terms of what types of federal aid are eligible for our professional students. There is no need-based aid for professional students. There are a few exceptions if you qualify for the TEACH grant, but for the most part, need-based aid is for your first degree for undergraduate students only. Once you become a professional student, what's available to you are student loans, and that's what my office will be awarding. The other thing is my office, we deal strictly with federal and state aid. So to apply for any of those and to be considered for that, you need to complete your FAFSA. If you are not eligible for a FAFSA, then my office would not be the best place for you to go for information about what resources are available for you, because again, my office doesn't deal with any of those other type resources. So all right. There's the contact information of my office. We are still here for you. We're just here in a little bit different way. Our phone lines are still open. They are open a little less than normal hours. So you can reach us 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the phone, or you can email us, and then we also can chat. If you go to our website, lamar.edu, type in financial aid, type in, or any of the chat functions, you can send us a question, and my counselors are on chat all day long. So we are here for you. It just looks a little different. To be considered for any kind of financial aid, you need to complete your FAFSA. There's FAFSA. You can download the app and do it on your phone now, or you can actually go to the website and do it on your desktop. Regardless, so our graduate programs run on all different kinds of academic calendars, which is great, right? We're all working adults here. And so we may take 5-week classes, we may take 8-week classes, we may stop and start. And there's so much flexibility there, which is great. And there is flexibility with financial aid, but our financial aid year does not always match your academic year. So the thing to remember is what FAFSA you need to be filling out, because at any given time, there are multiple FAFSAs available. And this website, studentaid.gov, I can't stress to you how much great information there's here and how much you can find simply by going to this website. So your financial aid, for instance, if you're looking to start, I know I've had several graduate students call because we've got some graduate programs that are starting on June 1st. If you're starting in June 1st, that's actually part of the 1920 financial aid year. So you'll need to fill out your 1920 FAFSA, but then for money for the fall, spring, and summer of next year, you need to fill out your 2021 FAFSA. You can do that at the same time by simply logging in. You'll log in with your FSA ID. I can't stress enough the importance of getting your FSA ID all sorted out. And well, there you can see me, and that has actually been my FSA ID since I was an undergrad back in 1998. So some things do not change. But that is so important for you to have that and keep that. As I said, it's not going to change. So if you borrowed or used federal aid as an undergrad, it's going to be the same thing. Once you submit your FAFSA, you are an independent student in the terms of the Department of Education. So you will not include any information about your parents. You will only include information about yourself, your spouse, and your dependents. And dependents are people you provide over 51% of their support. You will need to have your prior year taxes complete and have that information available to you to complete your application. It's all done online, all done electronically. From the time that you do it at this time of year, I need about 3 to 5 business days to process it for the summer. For next year, it's about 7 to 10 business days. We communicate all of our information with you via email. So you do need to make sure once you're admitted, you get your Lamar University email address up and checking it. We have about 12,000 students at Lamar, and while I do wish we could have more one-on-one contact with them, the best way we can reach you guys is through your email. It's the safest and most secure way. You'll get an email from the financial aid office to your Lamar University financial aid inbox. You will fill out the FAFSA every year. It does not follow you through your education. So you'll fill it out again for every academic year. So 1920, 2021, if your program is longer than a year, you'll need to fill it out again. And the financial aid year is always fall, spring, and summer. So that's why, again, if you happen to be starting your program in June, you're actually getting aid from the 1920 year, and then you'll need aid from the 2021 year to pay for the following year. And then if you have programs after that, if you're taking classes after that, it's 21, 22. Oops, I apologize. All right, let's get back over here. So the big question is, so all of our graduate programs, if you want to know exactly what your costs are, your tuition and fees, that you're actually going to find through my partners in the cashier's office. My office, we offer the aid, and our partners in the cashier office, they're the ones who actually calculate your bills, and then they actually credit the aid. So it's a partnership between our two offices. So I can't tell you how much your program is going to cost. That's actually from my partners. What I can tell you is, when you get your award from us, again, you'll be offered student loans because that's what's available for professional students. The things that are going to be on there are what's referred to as your cost of attendance. So your cost of attendance, that is not what you are charged. The only items you are charged are your tuition and fees. And then if we are graduate students who choose to live on campus, your room and board will be there. Nothing else is charged to you. What this is to help us determine what is the true cost of attending and completing your degree. So if you need to and you choose to, you can borrow or receive scholarships up to and cover all of those things, okay? But again, this is not your bill. This is what we use to determine how much aid, how much loans can I offer you so that you can borrow if you're going to choose to borrow to cover your cost of attendance. Your FAFSA application, the reason I stress that importance is because that's what makes you eligible for student loans. If I don't have that, I can't offer you federal student loans. And again, from my office, that's what is available for professional students. If there are scholarships, those would go through the scholarships office. And if you go to the main Lamar website, you can type in scholarships and it takes you right to their webpage, and you can fill out applications on My Scholarship. So, educational loans. You will automatically be offered if you have not reached your lifetime limit. So if you have not done other professional study elsewhere and exhausted your lifetime limit of $138,000, you will be offered a federal direct unsubsidized loan. And that there is no credit check with that. It does accrue interest while you're in school, but payments on the principal and the interest do not start until 6 months after you graduate or drop below half-time. Half-time for graduate students, half-time for graduate students is 5 hours. If you need more than what we were able to offer you, because the unsubsidized loan, the amounts that you are offered are based on the number of hours you're enrolled in and the length of time you're enrolled. So for instance, if you're taking 5-week classes, you're going to be eligible for less than someone who is taking 8-week classes, because part of what your cost of attendance considers is how long are you attending school. Now, what we do is that we will connect and we will say, if you're taking one class, if you're taking 3 consecutive 5-week sessions, then that's the equivalent of 1 semester. So in that sense, you would be eligible for the same amount as someone who was taking a traditional 14-week, 15-week semester. Same thing with 8-week classes. If you're taking 2 consecutive 8-week classes, then you would be eligible the same because your length of enrollment is the same. If you need more than what is offered to you and your cost of attendance, which is going to be on your award letter, can bear it, you can also apply for a Graduate Plus loan. That is a counterpart to the unsubsidized loan, and that is the credit-based version. If you pass the credit check, you can borrow up to the total for that. Excuse me. And then there are also private loans. So those are loans that are not offered from the Department of Education. They are through various banks and lenders. If you would like to learn more about that, if you go to our website, and again, it's just financial aid, you'll just Google financial aid over here. If you go to types of aid, you have your own section here for graduate students. Click on learn more. And then here it talks about the unsubsidized loan, the plus loan, and then under alternative loans. Those are if you wish to compare loans, and I do encourage you to shop for your loans, just like you would for any other type of loan that you were going to take out. You want to shop and make sure that it fits your needs and it's the best possible choice for you. What we have here is a tool for you to use to help compare private lenders. And that's on our website. So what happens, because again, we're all adults, part of being in graduate school is, you know, I know when I was attending graduate school, I was going to working during the day and then I was taking classes at night. And one semester I was taking managerial accounting and business law, and it was absolutely too much for me. And so I wound up dropping a class, which that happens. You need to bear in mind, if you are using federal student aid to pay for those classes and you drop classes or change your length of enrollment. So this is where we go back to, let's say you're in 3 consecutive 5-week classes and you decide to drop one, let's say the first 5 weeks, and then you're enrolled in the next 2. That's changed the amount of aid that you're eligible for, and we will have to retract some of that loan money that we gave you, return that to the Department of Ed, and then you will owe that money to the university. So anytime, always contact our office before you drop classes to determine how that is going to impact you. All right, let's do some question and answers because I know everybody always has lots of questions. Stephanie, do we have anything?
Yes, we do have some questions. I was trying to get us a nice little background, but I don't want to mess anything up. So let me see what kind of questions we have.
Oh, I see them actually popping up. I can start answering them. I see some over here in the chat.
Okay.
So being an employee, does that affect your tuition? No, you are charged the same amount of tuition as anyone else. If you would like to learn more about any kind of tuition benefit, that would be through Human Resources. To clarify, is 6 hours still full-time? No, for a graduate student, full-time is 9 hours and half-time is 5 hours. But as you guys know, it's very unusual to be enrolled in 5 hours, so it defaults to 6 hours. When is fall tuition due? That would be a question for the cashier's office. They handle bills and billing and when is tuition due. Are you all done with the awarding process? No, awarding is done on a rolling basis. We award all year long. We do have a priority deadline, but it's not as important for graduate students because again, you guys aren't eligible for need-based aid. So awarding is done on a rolling basis. So long as you apply in time for your aid to come in, we'll be able to award you in time so that you can have that money credited towards your bill.
I have a question here, Bethany, because some students have been sending them to me privately. Does the Texas Hazelwood Act cover graduate studies or graduate degrees?
That would depend on your eligibility, and that would be a question for the Veterans Office.
Okay.
But yes.
And also, just so I am clear, the only type of financial aid that we would be eligible for would be loans, not grants or federal grants, like they gave the example of Pell Grants.
So if we could backtrack some.
Okay, so the question was, just so I'm clear, the only type of financial aid I would be eligible for would be loans, not any type of federal grants or Pell Grants or anything like that.
Correct, those are only for undergraduate students.
Okay, let's see, you got that question? When can we see our award on self-service banner?
Your award, again, processing at this time of the year, it's usually is it for this year or for next year? Are you starting in the summer or are you starting in the fall? But normally we try and get those up within 7 to 10 days once awarding starts. If you have submitted a FAFSA and it's been more than that and you have not received an award, it's possible we're missing something for your account for you to be awarded. So I would suggest you contact our office.
I think this might be a cashier's question, but I'm going to throw it out there. Most students are doing online and would be charged recreational sports fee. That would benefit us from, would this fee be removed? Basically, if they're an online student and a recreational sports fee.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't, our office doesn't do anything with fees. That would absolutely be a question for the cashier's office. We just deal with strictly with the aid.
And you might be able to see this one. I was awarded work study for the first time. How does that work? Graduate student from work study, because that's actually, I'm not familiar with that process myself.
It's the same. That actually is the same. Graduate students, they can qualify for work study. Bear in mind, it's just like a regular part-time job. It's no different than a part-time job. You'll go to the student job board, which you can access through our website, the financial aid website. If you click on it, you'll see the job board and you can apply for jobs. You'll get interviewed and all that. Again, it's just like any other part-time job. The only reason that it makes it work study is that you do have to have some financial need based on your FAFSA. And that is money that the Department of Ed grants to Lamar University to allow us to employ more students than we would if we were paying it strictly out of, our own budget.
What is the deadline for, I'm assuming, what is the deadline for summer aid?
Okay, we don't have a deadline, but it is on a first come, first served basis. But, and again, if you're a graduate student, summer aid is loan, so we're not gonna run out of those. Right now, processing for summer is taking us about 10 business days because we are also processing emergency financial aid right now, so everything is taking us a little bit longer to get through. So when it comes to financial aid, it's always best to apply as early as possible. The longer you wait, the later it's going to take to process, and the more likely it is you may have to make private payment arrangements with the university while your financial aid is getting processed.
Okay, and if anyone is still joining us, just so you know, we are muting your cameras, or I'm sorry, we are turning off your cameras and muting your microphones because we are recording this so that we can have this later on our website for students that may have questions about financial aid. Okay, so a lot of these. Do graduate students, PhD students get any award, or is it just student private loans? So yes, pretty much it's loans for whether you're a doctoral student or a master's student, whether you are an online student, any type of financial aid would be in the form of loans. There is not any federal grants or Pell grants or SE. Like I know back in the day we had the SEO, is it SEOG grant? We had all
right, and those are all for undergrad. So if you are looking for non-loan resources, those would be in the form of scholarships. So you would apply through the scholarships website if there's any loan help there. Again, that's mostly for undergrads. Or if you're looking for assistantships or something directly from your department, then you would actually contact your department about that. My office deals strictly financial aid from the Department of Education through the FAFSA is strictly loans.
And also someone had the question, the scholarship office and the financial aid office are two separate offices, correct? Yes.
Yeah, we work very closely together. But yeah, if you want the real nitty gritty on scholarships, then that would actually be through that office.
Okay. There's a lot of questions. I'm trying to filter my way through. I completed the FAFSA 2 weeks ago and I haven't heard anything back. What should I do next?
If it's been 2 weeks and you've already been admitted and everything, that's about where we're at for processing. But I would absolutely send an email to financialaid@lamar.edu, include your student ID number, and just to check on the status of your application, because it may be that we need something else that we're still pending.
This is also another question that I get. If I am still a dependent on my parents and I do not fill out the 2020 tax return, do I still have to fill out the FAFSA independent of my parents' income? So I'm assuming since they're applying for graduate school, I guess typically they would be independent students, but
Yes.
this is saying that they're still under their parents. So
Yeah. And that, yeah, that doesn't have any bearing on it. The Department of Ed says once you have a bachelor's degree, you're an independent student. And when you fill out the FAFSA, it will tell you you don't need to enter parent information. Once you tell it that you're seeking your professional or graduate degree, it will tell you, okay, well, we're going to bypass parent questions then. There are some very elite Ivy League schools that do still collect parent information, medical schools for graduate students, but Lamar and regional public schools like us don't do that.
Okay. Is a Lamar employed children eligible? I'm assuming for financial aid?
Oh, for there is a dependent benefit, and you can find that it's through your benefits. You can contact HR. The policy for employee benefits for tuition assistance for children is on the Human Resources website.
This is a good question. What is the scholarship website for Lamar and also the financial aid? Is it possible that you can share your screen so that you can show students how to get to your webpage and possibly even the scholarship webpage?
Okay. You see it there, Stephanie?
Yes.
All right, so we're just at lamar.edu. And the quickest way to find us, if you want information about scholarships, they're the first one that comes up. And here's all the information about scholarships, contact information, all that stuff. And then if you backtrack a little bit and just click over here and click types of aid, this is where it took you to the either graduates, or if you're doing a strictly online program, you would look over here.
Okay. All right, let's see what else kind of questions we have.
Yeah. Here's a good one. If you're taking 3 5-week classes with the semester back to back, yes, that is still considered. If each class, let's say each 5 weeks, you're taking a 3-hour course, you are considered full-time for that semester. So that is correct. As long as you're enrolled in those classes back to back and they're within the term, that's how we calculate your hours. So for instance, let's say this fall, starting in August, you take 3 back-to-back courses. They're each 3 hours. You're considered 9 hours, which is full-time. To be eligible for loans, you only need to be in 6 hours. But a full-time student is 9 hours, but to be eligible for loans, that is 6 hours.
Okay, let's see. I'm working my way down because some of the questions that I'm getting are about like specific programs. Like how much does a specific program cost? So I'm going to bypass those because this is more so for financial aid and accessing financial aid in the process and any kind of questions. Do stipends reduce the amount of financial aid that I may be eligible for? So
it does count against your cost of attendance. So it would, if you wanted to borrow the maximum amount of loans and you got a stipend, we would reduce your loan by whatever that stipend was.
Okay. I currently have an award letter for 2021 school year that has HB5, work study, and unsub and sub. I did my FAFSA for grad. Does this mean my award year is not correct?
Yes, that is what that means. It means that we have something, when we got that, we had something that showed that it was undergrad. Definitely something we need to remedy. So please email my office with your name and ID number and let them know you are a graduate student. It could have been if you are a recent grad. Again, there could be a couple of things there, but yeah, that is an undergraduate award, so that is not accurate for graduate school.
Can graduate students be selected for verification?
They can be, yes. Mm-hmm.
And can you tell, like, what is verification? Just in case some of the folks that are joining us may have not been in school for like 10 years.
Okay.
They
Verification is where the Department of Education has asked the school to verify that the information you entered into your FAFSA is accurate. And so if you did not use the tool that's available in the FAFSA to transfer over your income information, then we would request from you, there's a worksheet, which we would provide you the link on your Banner self-service account under your requirements. And then we would also request that you send us a tax transcript or a copy of your 1040 or whichever form that you assign copy. And then we would verify that those numbers match what is in the FAFSA. Again, it's pretty uncommon for graduate students to be selected for verification. Over the years, that's become less and less and less. It's for the most part, it is undergrad students who are selected.
Somebody said that I'm in the same boat where my award year came through for undergrad, but not as a grad student. So just to reiterate, you would want to contact the financial aid office. Correct?
Yes, and yeah, because what it is something, again, either if you were a recent graduate, but normally it's because on your FAFSA, our office didn't process something. So yes, if you got that, that's not accurate, and I apologize for that. If you are registered for summer school, some of these questions, they sound like they're current students. I don't know why I assume this would be all prospective students.
Some of them are applicants. Some of them are students that are planning to start for summer or for fall.
Okay.
Some of them are just students that have inquired about our institution and our financial aid process. Okay. So everybody, we're trying to kind of answer questions.
Okay, great. Yeah, I see one here about summer 2020. If you submitted a FAFSA and you are showing that you're admitted for summer and you submitted a FAFSA for 1920, you will be offered, if you're eligible, for loans for summer if you're enrolled. Now, if you're enrolled less than half time, you won't be, because you wouldn't be eligible. Because I do see some questions about, is there aid for summer? There is, but all those things need to happen. You need to have your 1920 FAFSA completed, and you need to be enrolled in summer courses. And for graduate students, again, you need to be enrolled at least 6 hours in summer classes, and then we will automatically evaluate you for summer financial aid.
Okay. So this question seems it's a lot to unpack. I have not been in school for a long time, and I'm actually paying back my student loans. And I am going to start school in the fall. And do I have to, if I don't want to use loans, do I have to notify them that I'm in school?
Say that to me one more time.
Well, the student is been out of school for a while, and they've been paying back their student loans. They've been paying back student loans. So I'm assuming that, like, once you start to be in school status, you don't have to continue to pay on your loans?
That if they are federal loans,
yes.
That will, yes. The registrar's office, once you are in school and attending part-time on census day, they will report to the National Loan Clearinghouse that you're enrolled at least half-time in an accredited program, and your loan should automatically go into in-school deferment. If they don't, you need to contact your lender, and they'll provide you a form for in-school deferment that you can have the registrar's office fill out, and then you can send that back to them, and the loans will go into in-school deferment. So they'll be accruing interest, but you won't have to make payments at that time.
Okay, and you can continue to still be making payments if you'd like.
Yes, anything you pay is going to go directly to your principal.
Okay.
I see someone, I was presently awarded financial aid for upcoming fall, but that was for undergrad. Yes, because that means that your FAFSA that we had said that you were going to be an undergrad and not a grad. So if you have aid or you are switching from undergrad to grad, our office needs to be notified, or your FAFSA needs to be updated. Yes, Kaylin, all graduate loans are unsubsidized.
Here's a question, but I don't think that this may be for us in terms of financial aid. Who would I contact for additional funding as a minority doctoral student?
Yeah, federal aid is not based on your ethnicity or race or anything like that, so I'm not aware of anything like that.
Okay. Let's see. When is the deadline to accept unsubsidized loans? And I think you mentioned earlier that there's no deadline because you're always awarding for loans.
Yeah, you don't want to put it off though, because if you need them to pay your bill, it does take several days from the time that you accept your aid, your loan, to the time it pays out to the business office. And so during that time, you're responsible for any balance due to the university. So it's always best to do those things early.
Do I have to fill out a scholarship application each year? I don't know if that would be you, but just throwing it out there.
Um, if your scholarship is renewable, no, you just need to meet the scholarship. But if you want to be considered for other scholarships, then yes.
State resident TPEG.
We do have very little of that. Sometimes we do have a very limited amount of state TPEG for graduate students. We haven't gotten that allocation yet for next year. And if you're starting in summer, those funds were already awarded because they were attached to the previous aid year.
What about the CARE Act, Financial Aid Students CARE Act?
Okay, that's emergency financial aid for current students who are attending in the spring. So if you're a prospective student, that wouldn't apply to you.
Okay, so if you're starting in the summer or fall, that wouldn't apply to you.
Correct. Yeah, it was only for CARE funds. The Congress designated those for students who were impacted by campus disruptions. So you would have had to have been on attending face-to-face classes in the spring to be eligible for those funds. I see a question that says, what is TPEG? TPEG is, yeah, TPEG is it is a state, it's institutional grant provided by the state of Texas. It is primarily for undergraduate students. Some years we have a small amount of funding for graduate students. Right now I do not have any, which is why I was saying that just now we have loans. It gets, unfortunately guys, it gets smaller and smaller every year. But what I can tell you is that if we do have it, we do evaluate to see if you're eligible for that. But again, for those starting in the summer, those funds were dispersed last fall to the students because it's attached to the academic year.
Okay. Are grad students eligible for Pell Grants? No, graduate students are not eligible for Pell Grants. And I know a lot of these questions are kind of, we're seeing them because I know a lot of folks are just joining us. Yeah, we have no problem going back over some of the questions. Some of them,
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Specific to like actual programs and the cost of attending certain programs. So because those are so specific to like how much does the online program cost or how much does this program cost, those are more so cost of attendance and tuition estimates, not necessarily financial aid. Financial aid is not going to tell you that the online business costs this much.
Yeah, that you'll go to the cashier's website and they actually have tuition and fees breakdown. So when you're in higher education, you've got the financial aid office, which our office, we evaluate your application and we award you based on the program that you're admitted to. So are you an undergrad or a grad? In the length of time that you're enrolled in that program. So are you registered, are you going to go for fall, spring? Are you going to go just for summer? And we offer the max that you're eligible for based on the cost of attendance. But if you actually want to know how much is going to be on your bill, that is done through the cashier's office because they actually calculate and assess charges.
Just to confirm, 2019 taxes need to be completed before you can do 2020, 2021 FAFSA.
No, it is 2018. So you will use your prior year tax information. I guess it was in 2010. The Department of Ed changed that to make it easier for undergraduate families to apply for aid. Because what was happening is that FAFSA would open in December, but parents, I don't file my taxes in January every year. I wait until April to file them. And so students weren't able to apply for aid. So they have changed it to now it's your prior year.
Okay. Are payments due on the 15th?
Payment due dates, that would be on the cashier. That's also through the cashier's office. I can tell you, my office for summer 1, we're dispersing aid on the 22nd. We are for May Mini, we dispersed aid today, but for summer session one, we're dispersing it on May 22nd. So any kind of loans or scholarships, if it's posted to your account, we'll push that over to the cashiers to your bill on the 22nd.
Here's an interesting one. I was awarded state resident TPEG for fall. We just talked about the TPEG. And I start graduate school in the fall. Do I need to notify financial aid, or can I use those funds?
No, you don't need to notify us. If you were awarded that, that meant you were one of my earliest students who applied. And so you did get some. But no, you don't need to notify us.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to see if we have any more questions that would be applicable to Bethany in the financial aid office. How do I find out if my financial aid award is for graduate and not undergraduate? I was offered both a loan and work study for both fall and spring. And the question was, can graduate students also do work study?
Yeah, graduate students are eligible for work study. Let's see, you're welcome to contact the office, but if you see an unsubsidized loan and work study, and then when you log into your Banner self-serve account, it should show you as a graduate student on your award, but you're also welcome to reach out to us and we can certainly check that. What you should not see is a subsidized loan on your account. If you see a subsidized loan, then that means that there was a problem with our office for whatever reason, seeing something in our database that classified you as an undergraduate student.
Is skipping summer sessions counted against you, or does it trigger your financial aid reimbursement?
I guess I'm not really sure what. Tell me the question again. I'm trying to.
Is skipping summer sessions counted against you or trigger reimbursement? So I'm assuming that maybe this student is going to be a graduate student, and maybe they have not decided to start in the summer. Maybe they're going to go in the fall. So would that affect their aid year for the fall?
No, because they're two separate years. Remember, summer is the end of one year and fall is the beginning of another. Now, if you are out of school for more than 6 months and you're paying on student loans, then your loans are going to go into repayment. But as far as anything else, there wouldn't be any other impacts.
How about, can I be awarded work study if I'm taking online classes?
You can. It would mean you'd have to come to campus to work, but yeah, we don't restrict it because not all of our we don't assume that just because you're choosing to take online classes that you're not here locally. We do have online students who do come to campus, but all the jobs are on campus. None of them are remote.
Okay. Attend school for spring. Do I need to do? Okay, I did my FAFSA for 2019-2020, but I did not attend school in spring 2020. Do I need to redo the FAFSA again to receive summer aid for 2020?
No, not for summer aid. Okay. But I would say you probably want to email our office, because if you looked like you were going to enter in spring and did not enter in spring, my system won't always know to pick you up again because it thinks you decided not to attend. So if you are going to attend for summer, then you should reach out, just send your name, ID number, and say, I'm a graduate student who deferred from spring to summer, and you're checking on the status of your award, and one of my counselors can get you caught up with that.
Okay. So we've been going for about 45 minutes now, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I definitely encourage you to, if you have questions and we didn't get to your questions, because I want to make sure that we don't get cut off in the process. So if you have questions and we didn't get to your questions, please shoot me your questions. My email address is sbroussard11@lamar.edu. A lot of you probably already have all my contact information anyway, and I can forward them to Bethany. Or Bethany, can you share your financial aid office email? And what is probably the best way? Because a lot of students have contacted me and they've said, like, well, I have questions about financial aid. Who do I contact? So should they reach out to their individual financial aid counselors? Does their counselor reach out to them, like once they realize that they have that student? Or how does that process work?
You have to, You guys have to reach out to us if you have questions. Again, unfortunately, with 12,000 students, we don't reach out to every single student. So just send us an email at financialaid@lamar.edu. Include your name, student ID number, and your question, and it'll go to the appropriate counselor, and someone will follow up with you.
Okay. Oh, I had a question, but now I lost it, man. And I know, is a lot of your staff working from home as well right now?
Yes, we're all working remotely, but again, we're still checking email. We're available via chat. We do have the phone shift available. Again, wait times, because we are also processing emergency aid right now for summer. Our wait times have gone up, so we're going to have to ask for some grace and patience there. But we're still accessible the same way we were before.
Okay, and students, when they reach out to financial aid or their personal counselors, they need to use their Lamar emails, correct? Not their Yahoos and their Gmails, because I know I communicate with students through however way I can, through either personal or Lamar. But I know with financial aid, it has to come directly from the
Yes,
Lamar.
for your privacy and safety, we do only communicate. Again, you can send me something from Yahoo, but don't be surprised if we reply back to your Lamar email address. And so, yeah, we're always going to communicate strictly with your Lamar email address. So either get that set up to forward or some other way to make sure that you are utilizing that. Because yeah, we will do that for your safety, because we're going to be talking about your financial aid world. I do see a note here, a student, one last question. When should we expect summer emergency aid? There is not emergency aid for summer. Emergency aid is for students who were enrolled in the spring semester. So if you were enrolled in the spring semester and you were impacted by campus disruptions due to COVID, you would fill out there is on our financial aid website, on the main website, there's actually a link to the emergency aid application, and you can fill that out if you were in a face-to-face program in this spring, and we can consider you for emergency aid.
One last question.
Mm-hmm.
So this last question that just came in, do I apply for the Fafsa before I get an acceptance letter?
Yes, always fill out that FAFSA as soon as you can. Yeah, the sooner the better. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by that. I want to make sure I answer the questions. But yeah, fill out the FAFSA. What'll happen is if I get the FAFSA and you haven't been admitted to your program yet, we'll hold on to that. And once you're admitted, then we'll process it.
Okay.
For the emergency aid questions, sorry, there's a great FAQ. So I would encourage you to go to our website, and you can, it has all the information that we have about emergency aid for the students who are asking about emergency aid in the chat.
Okay. So once again, we're going to bring this to a close. And like I said, if there's a question that we didn't get to, because there was a point where we had like 120 people in this chat. So if we didn't get to one of your questions, please feel free to email me personally. Everyone should have all my contact information because I personally invited you. Or you can reach out to Bethany personally. Please reach out to her and I can forward that information to her as well. Also, if you didn't catch us earlier in the chat, if you are interested in getting one of these nice nifty bumper stickers, they will not tear up your car. And I also send a few little goodies in there. Please drop your email address in the chat so that I can follow up with you to get your physical address, and I can send you a Lamar sticker so that you are always representing Lamar. If there are no more questions, and it looks like the questions have been cut off on my side. Also keep in mind that we are doing several different sessions for graduate sessions. I'm going to have several different program directors join us. Last week we had educational leadership. Upcoming we have accounting, and actually on Monday we have public administration, and we also have the MBA coming up at the end of May. Please make sure you check our Lamar Visit website and follow us in all the different social media. I don't know all the social media, but it's out there. But trust me, they have a lot of great information, so make sure you do follow us. All right, so I do thank you, Bethany. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for doing such an awesome job and answering all these questions. And I look forward to working with each of you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.
I appreciate you inviting me, and thank you, current Lamar students and future Lamar students. Thank you for your questions and giving me the opportunity to answer them. I do hope you reach out if you have questions or if anything I said today was unclear, or if you have, we definitely, I want to have, we want to walk with you through your financial aid journey because it's a little bit different, as you can tell, for everyone. So don't hesitate to reach out. We do have to ask for your grace and patience right now because processing times are a little bit longer because we've got a lot going on in financial aid these days. But please, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Definitely. And like I say, I do try to help students along with the process with admissions and become like through the whole enrollment process. I try to assist students, but there's a lot of things that with financial aid I don't even have access to. So
Yeah.
I want to make sure that they have the right information because all I can give y'all is my personal experience going through grad and undergrad. And I know it's very different. And I know that the opportunities are not, or the funding is not the same on both sides. So I want to make sure that everyone has that kind of information. And like I said, we are recording this, so you can always reference back to this at any time. It should be up by Friday on our visit page. All right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Make sure to drop your email address in the chat. Thank y'all. Thanks, Bethany.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.